the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy.
Boy, have we got a show for you today. We got a special guest from the University of Ozarks, former Bomber basketball player Luke Proctor. He's going to give us an update about how things are going over there in Clarksville. It's going to be a fun interview with him. It's going to be coming up here in the second segment. We got a couple things to cover here. We want to give a big shout-out to our 5A West Conference champion, the Mountain Home boys cross-country team. They just ran away with it, pun intended. And our girls came up as runner-ups. They will head to the state tournament next week. So we'll see if we can bring home some hardware there at the 5A cross-country meet. We'll have all the updates for you next week. Another great thing, the Lady Bomber volleyball team, their season came to an end the other day against a team that's probably going to win it all, the Shiloh Christian Saints. They put up a good fight. Shiloh's coach had a lot of great things to say about our bunch, saying that they were just real scrappy, and the parents of Shiloh were just raving about us, saying how a lot of the balls that they normally hit, they're hitting the ground instead. We're digging them out. They said they hadn't seen a team dig out that many hits that they had in a long time. So that's a real good thing to hang your hat on if you're the Lady Bombers, of course. But their season, they finish with a record of 17-9 on the season, 8-3 at home, 9-6 on the road. So a big improvement from only winning, I believe, only 2 matches last year on the road. So big future for those girls as they will wave goodbye to seniors Michaela Magis, Anna McCarn, Addison Martz, and Carly Drury. They will go off to their winter or spring sports or their other activities, and maybe even the next level in another sport. I know Carly Drury is going to go to Williams Baptist for softball, and Anna McCarn is going to go to Lindenwood University to play some basketball. Speaking of basketball, Bomber tip-off right around the corner on November the 9th. If you are an alumni, give me a shout, Dylan Conley, or give Elisa Blaisdell a call. You can go to the Bomber basketball social media accounts to get the contact information for that. If you would like to participate in the Bomber tip-off as an alumni, you need to have played Bomber basketball back in your day or have a special reason, such as you are a parent of a player, to participate in this year's event. It's always a fun event. It's the big kickoff to the Bomber basketball season. Not very many home games in the non-conference for them, but their conference season, all their conference games are always fun. Plus, they have the Atlas Asphalt Tournament, which will take place over the Christmas break. I want to say we'll have a set of benefit games against Batesville on the 12th. That's in the hangar. And then later that week, we're still trying to get that scheduled out. I think it's going to end up being on that Thursday. We'll welcome Fortsmith Northside's boys and our old boy Cody Wilmath to the gymnasium to see what their team's made out of. We talked to him the other day. We went down with volleyball for the Bomber Sports Network show, the state tournament, and they practiced that morning at Northside's gym, and that place is a palace. It's unbelievable, and it's great to see Coach Wilmath in a great situation like that. I knew when he was coaching here at Mountain Home, I was like, God, this guy he's really good. He's almost too good for junior high. Well, he was too good for junior high, but it was just a blessing to have someone that could coach at that level at our junior high. Now he's leading one of the biggest programs in the state of Arkansas. That's really awesome to see. So that's a lot of great things coming up. And I believe the girls, they have a home game on December 20th. That's their first real home game. That's against Rogers Heritage. That's just a girls' day. That's 9th grade, JV, and varsity. They'll take place that day. We'll have the schedules out on mhbombersports.com. You can check out more information on that. November the 19th, the Bomber basketball and Lady Bomber basketball teams will be on the road as the home team. We'll be playing a game at FedEx Forum. You can check the Bomber basketball social media accounts or call the athletic office on direction on how to get tickets for that. You will need a ticket to the NBA game that night to be able to watch this game at the FedEx Forum. The game that night, it's an NBA play-in tournament to the Emirates Cup, whatever they call it. The Memphis Grizzlies will welcome 3-time most valuable player Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets to town. So that'll be a fun day of basketball. I think the lowest ticket was around $40. So for $40, you can watch 2 really good boys and girls teams at Mountain Home take on really solid clubs from Paragould, and then, hang out in Memphis, go have some barbecue, and come back and watch, John Morant and Nikola Jokic, watch 2 of the bright and shining stars of the NBA and watch them go at it. So you're getting some bang for your buck there. We're going to take a short little break. We're going to have Luke Proctor on the phone here on the other side of the break. This is the Bomber Buzz.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Bomber Buzz, this is the pregame show for senior night. We're going to honor our 17 football seniors tonight against Van Buren. We're going to honor our other fall sports and activities, including ROTC, band, cheer, dance, and pretty much everyone. There's roughly, I want to say, over 70 seniors that we're going to honor at 6:30 for tonight's game against the Pointers. It's a big game. Mountain Home wins this game. They will for sure secure their first home playoff game since 2009. But enough with all that stuff. We're going to welcome in our guest currently at the University of the Ozarks in Clarksville, hooping it up, former Bomber basketball player Luke Proctor. Luke, what's going on, dog?
Not much, DConn. Just down here in Clarksville, having a good time.
I believe that. You're joining us via the phone. So how's things going over at U of O?
It's going good. We've been ramping up a lot here recently with basketball and stuff. We got our first game next Friday against Hendricks.
Yeah,
they're coming up here.
That's becoming a rivalry a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Some stuff has went down with the soccer programs. Going back and forth a little bit. Both are pretty competitive this year. Last year went pretty competitive with them, split with them in basketball. So it's going to be a big deal for us.
Yeah, that's a kind of exciting schedule, you guys. You guys play Rhodes, you play Belhaven, Lyon, a lot of schools in the state of Arkansas.
Yeah. Lyon coming to the D3 now instead of the NAIA. It's changed a lot for us, so there's 3 D3s in Arkansas now.
Is there a game on the schedule you got circled, or are there any you're just excited? Lyon, I'd imagine you'd be excited because that's kind of close to home.
Yeah, Lyon. So we're going to Batesville, which will be pretty cool. I haven't been there in a while, so that'll be a pretty cool game. But we're in a new conference this year, so we'll see new gyms all over the country.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your schedule. You guys go to Colorado College and Colorado Springs. You go to San Antonio. Of course, you got a bunch of games in Clarksville. But is there a road trip that you've taken in college that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, there's not been one that I just enjoyed more than the others. Going to Austin's been pretty cool. But the last 2 years we've went to Sol Ross, and that is about a 15-hour bus ride for us. Ooh. So that's one we've been dreading every year, so pretty glad we're not going to have to make that one.
Suddenly that bus ride to Greenwood doesn't sound too bad now.
Yeah, I told our coaches I got used to it since Russellville was about our closest conference game. I got used to the bus rides, but not like that.
It's funny. Well, I'll talk to a bunch of people, and they'll have people like I forget who I was talking to. They were going down to Ouachita. And it might have been Wyatt. He was saying, like, man, all these guys are complaining about this bus ride from Searcy to Arkadelphia, which is like 2 hours. It's like, you guys have no idea.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No clue.
So this is you a junior this year? I can't ever remember. With all the COVID years, what are you classified at this year?
Yep, just a junior, third year.
That's right, yeah, because the COVID years ran out, I think, your freshman year.
Yep, so COVID years ended with my class.
Gotcha. So you graduate from Mountain Home. Let's go in the Wayback Machine. When did you start playing basketball?
Oh, about as long as I can remember, really. I remember first organized was either probably in the youth center or the Upward League in the church.
Yeah.
Way back, and then top flight and up through there.
Now you played a bunch of sports growing up. I remember you played football up to what, 8th grade?
Yeah, I played football through 9th grade, and then
that's right.
Didn't play in high school.
That's right. You're just a hooper in high school.
Yeah.
So were there any other sports that you tried growing up?
Not really. No good at baseball. I was good at soccer at a super young age. I feel like about everyone.
I could see that. You run pretty well. So I mean that'd been a fun sport for you to try back in the day. But so of course every athlete has that aha moment. When did you realize, in what grade, you were like, man, I could play this after high school?
Man, I feel like that was a big goal of mine. Kind of realizing like I could. I played AAU a lot outside of the area in Jonesboro and Little Rock, and then we would travel to these places, and I felt like I was hanging my own with some really solid guys that were definitely going to go up. So I think that just kind of gave me some confidence of these guys are going to make it. I think I can too. Yeah,
you played in what I've always considered close to the golden era of AAU basketball. I mean, there was just so much talent on the travel circuits everywhere. It was like basically D1 games all over the country.
Yep.
Who did you play for in AAU again?
So I played with Team Portis Wings out of Jonesboro for a while, and then towards the end of my career, I just finished the last year with B Elite out of Harrison. We just did some local stuff. But growing up, throughout the whole time, I played through Jonesboro and Little Rock here and there. But growing up with a lot of the dudes on the Jonesboro high school team.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember those. Those teams were loaded. It seemed like.
Yeah, we had a team. I can't remember what grade it was. We went back and looked at the picture, and everyone on the team went to play a collegiate sport. 2 played Division I football, and the rest of us went to play basketball.
Gosh, that's what's crazy. It's like, because I always remember, like, you'd go play on your AAU team, and you'd be pretty good, but you'd be like the first dude off the bench, or you'd be like the 4th or 5th option at times. Like, it's just insane how loaded it was.
Loaded.
So speaking of loaded, I wanted to talk about your junior year specifically. That was a real interesting time. Sophomore year, you have a fairly decent year. You kind of start a little bit and playing a little bit for varsity. But junior year, you start, but you got COVID mixed in there, where there were literally days you guys would wake up, show up to school, and then you'd find out a game's canceled or a game was moved. And, that year, you, me, Wyatt, and Fulcher were like the only ones that, we never got sick. We never got quarantined. How difficult was that, not really knowing what was even going to happen that day or even who you were going to play with that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I can remember times in practice where, you show up to school, you think you're going to have a practice, you start seeing dudes aren't there, and then we'll go to practice, there'll be 8 or 9 people there out of the 20-man roster or however many you have. It was just always a gamble because, I remember that summer before leading up to it, Coach Fulcher would send us workouts over the phone just to do at home, something to keep us active doing stuff in quarantine. And then just the uncertainty of even having a year, I was just thankful we got to play games. Yeah,
that was just a wild year because there were literally times where, and I remember seeing in a junior high game, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been an 8th grade game, and they might be seniors now, but there was someone, they were literally like in the warm-up line, and he got hit with a close contact, and he couldn't play or be around for like 14 days. It was just stuff like that was nuts.
Insane.
Was there anything else that just stuck out during that year? I know we went on a little bit of a state tournament run and lost to the eventual state champion Jonesboro, but was there, like, it was a rare time where when we were healthy, it was like, oh, we got this. Like, there's not a doubt in our head.
Yeah, for sure. We were missing Matt for a lot of the year. That would have been a big help to just, get him rolling all the way to the state tournament. Just here and there, randoms missing, getting COVID, close contact. It was just insane.
So that ended up being a good year, and then you go on to have a decent senior year stat-wise. When did you start to get recruited at the next level? Like, that was was it toward the end of your junior year?
Yeah, so I got my first offer a couple months after the state tournament, my junior year. And then went to a lot of camps, got invited to a lot of campus tours, stuff like that. Had a good time with that. And then Ozarks was actually the last place my senior year. I didn't get offered or even have a conversation with the coach until after the NAC All-Star game.
That's right, I remember that.
Went to that, and then I got a hold. I had no clue that Ozarks was even here, to be honest with you. And got a hold of him, came down. It was a great day, super sunny. And walked the campus. It was really nice, and decided this was the program I wanted to be at.
I've just admired it from afar. I watch y'all's games, and of course I keep up with all our college guys. Wyatt, Emma, of course, kept up with Matt a bunch because he was down the road. But
yeah,
were there any other offers that you had that were kind of on your radar? Was there anyone that just kind of stuck out?
Yeah, there were a couple places where I wanted to go, but one place that I felt was really on the end of almost going to was a super small school. It was a Champion Christian in Hot Springs.
That's right.
And their coach, amazing guy. Had some great conversations with him. Went on 2 visits actually, and just felt like that would have been a really good place as well.
Yeah, that was. I got a few connections over there at Champion. I was like, this is a nice program. This is a program that they're just getting started. They played. It looked like a rec center when you come out, but it's a neat little environment when you watch an actual game. But that's a good program. That I remember that was one that you just kept talking about. Like, man, I'm going here, and then Ozarks kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So the transition between the high school game to college, there's a lot of people that say it kind of speeds up, but for a lot of guys, amazingly, they say it's almost slows down compared to how you practice and how you play in high school. Which end of that did you land on? Like, did you find it to be faster? Did you find it to be kind of slow down, or what?
Yeah, it's kind of just a mixed answer, really. I remember when I showed up my freshman year because, we couldn't start at that time period. NCAA wouldn't allow us to start practice until about the middle to end of October. So when you show up on campus, it's just individual workouts and just scrimmages with the team. And I remember the first week, I was doing solid, but I felt like everyone was moving. And I think the biggest jump that I had to make was on the defensive side. And in high school, not to say anything bad about any of the teams or anything, but there's always a dude or two that you can sag off or you can not have to go close out super hard on. But in college, you're having to close out immediately to everyone. And if you don't close out and sag off, you're getting hit with a three. And if you close out too high, they're driving by and swinging on the rim. So that was a big jump, but got settled in, and now I almost enjoy it a lot more because I feel like everyone moves more fluently and together.
That's one thing that it's kind of hard for people to realize at the collegiate level is everyone can play. Like, these are the dudes that were like the best player on their team, or at least top two on their high school team. Or if they were on a good team, they were like the fourth or fifth best dude, but they were still pretty good. Like, it's the 1% of 1% of hoopers in the state end up playing in college. Even at a small school like yours, it's not just people that go to U of A, Arkansas State, Tech, Harding, wherever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a big jump, and it's still a big jump. I see it with the freshmen that come in every year. They kind of get that mentality of, this guy might be lower down on the roster, and it's like, he might be lower down on our roster, but he was the best player in his region. So
yeah. Another thing that's always stuck out watching the Ozarks program is, I believe you're the only dude from the state of Arkansas. Are you not now?
I am. So I'm the only. We have a student coach from Greenwood. He graduated, Braden Bowman. So he's a student coach. He's a freshman for us. But outside of that, I'm the only current player that graduated from an Arkansas school.
Is that kind of a big adjustment? Because you are an Arkansas guy, and you're 2.5 hours from Mountain Home, but it almost feels like you're in another state.
Yeah, so it's really different. I mean, the majority of our team's from Texas. We got a couple Oklahoma dudes and a couple miscellaneous. We got a lot of Oklahoma, like I said, and then a New Yorker, and then some California dudes. But the majority of the team gets made up from Texas. So they're talking about their conferences and their schedule. And so there's really no one that you have to just talk about like some Arkansas going on. So it's a little different on that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's what I noticed is a lot of these smaller schools, like Hendrix is the same way, and even schools at the D2 level like Monticello and OBU,
Mm-hmm.
there's not just a whole lot of Arkansas talent on these teams, but
yeah.
I know that there's talent in the state. So I don't know if there's just a lot of schools are just hoarding all the talent or what.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on it. I know from our aspect of it, our coaches go to a lot of the big. We're big in the transfer portal as well, so our coaches go to a lot of the JUCO showcases in Texas, and I think Texas and Dallas area is just a big draw for a lot of coaches. I know ours especially for just recruiting some high school kids on some of those big preseason warm-up tournaments or some Christmas classics, stuff like that.
I mean, that's just fun to just be around other people too. Oh
yeah, for sure.
So we want to talk about, you've mentioned to me before you want to get into coaching, is that right?
Yeah.
So what drew you to that idea?
I've always enjoyed, being around sport of basketball, obviously. But my senior year, I mentored under Coach Fulcher for an internship, and it was his PE class, and it was actually a group that I really enjoyed getting to be with every day, and I kind of saw how he led that, and it was something where I felt you made a difference in someone's point of view or life in class. I saw how that was affected, and like going through high school, I know Coach Fulcher on the basketball side of it, he coached me hard, and but I always knew he was there for me too on that side. So I really just like the thoughts of being able to, make a difference for someone. And I'm currently coaching a kindergarten girls team here in Clarksville.
Oh, wow.
The girls club. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We struggled to get the ball to the rim at times on the 8-foot hoops.
That's okay.
It's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had to install a lot of press offense, and
yeah.
So
a lot of 2-3 and run to the block.
So how much do those kids retain at the kindergarten level? Because that's kind of younger than what we start with in top flight. I believe I think we start with kindergarten. I can't remember. I think it's either kindergarten or first grade. But
yeah, so we kind of got thrown into the fire. We had a draft, and all we had to go for on the draft was shirt sizes and date of birth. So I tried to pick the oldest and the biggest shirt sizes I could find. And then we had about 4 practices before going to a game. So we're playing a lot of kind of installed in their heads if they're playing up top on a 2-3 or in the block, and then our best player plays the middle for us.
What's that record? What's that record looking like this year?
Hey, we're 4-1 right now.
Right.
We're sitting good.
All right,
the games end in about a 4-2 score, but we're sitting good.
I mean, hey, a win's a win.
Hey, a win's a win.
That's one thing that I've noticed now with kind of a change of subject with the shot clock is like, man, these teams are scoring a lot more.
Yeah,
like there's no more games in the 30s now.
Yeah, I wish I could have played in the shot clock. Y'all got it the year after I graduated.
That's what I'll hear like coaches say, like, man, we played really good defensively that last game, and I'll look at the score, like I'll hear stuff in the news or read stuff in the newspaper or hear on the radio, like we played really good defense last night. I saw they gave up like 71 points. I'm like,
yeah,
God,
yeah.
that's like that used to be a good week. So we'll kind of put a bow on this, and I'll put you on the spot. We have, of course, the Bombers are off to their best start since 1986. Have you been keeping up with that, by the way?
Oh yeah, I watched. We practiced pretty late at night. We practiced till about 7:30 on Friday nights. So
Gosh.
I tune in. I normally catch about the second half, but I've been keeping up with it, and I'm enjoying watching them for sure.
So they have the Van Buren Pointers tonight. I don't believe we have lost to Van Buren since they joined the conference, but they're still a pretty stout opponent. Do you have a score prediction for us?
Ooh, I don't know. We've been putting up some good numbers. Let's go for about a 35.
Okay.
Bombers.
35-point win for the Bombers, or 35 points total?
No, we'll go 35. We'll go 35-14.
Okay, all right, that's pretty solid.
I like that. Give them reasonable. I haven't seen Van Buren, but they're normally solid.
Yeah, they're sitting in 6th place right now, so I think they're going to end up making state. Southside and Siloam won't. It's been just a real strange conference season, but.
Yeah, I saw the Siloam and Greenwood score. That one wasn't pretty.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty. Funny enough, the game against Siloam, that was one of their prettier scores. They're looking just a whole lot better. So
yeah.
It was I think it was 35-15, something like that. But it was.
I got you.
Yeah, they've gotten better. They do look better. But
gotcha.
So you still keep up with anything around here?
Yeah, for sure. All the basketball. I know Bomber tip-offs happening on the 11th.
It's the 9th. The 9th. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a Saturday after we play Hendricks next Friday, so I might try and swing back through and catch that.
Always welcome, dog. We come hoop a couple times your way too. So.
Yep, I went and watched the Alma game last year, and I'm definitely gonna try and make some more this year.
Yeah, it should be 2 fun teams to watch. Our boys and girls will be. I think, especially our girls, will be pretty good. But.
Oh yeah, it's always good getting to go back in the summer too and see them. So I know a lot of the team, and yeah, I'm hearing the girls will be really solid.
So that's one more thing before I cut you loose is, being out of the program, you're always a piece of it. Is it kind of rewarding to see that a lot of those guys that you might have played with or you might have helped with when they were, in junior high, to see them like finally at the high school level and see them doing good?
Oh yeah, I know, it's crazy. One in particular this summer, growing up, Tayshawn. I'd always see Tayshawn Henry around the gym, and this summer seeing him in the high school sophomore was just really, really crazy to me to see. But it's great being able to go back and see and talk to everyone. Actually, Coach Fulcher called me a little bit ago. I had to tell him I was in class, but he called me just a minute ago. So get in contact with him here soon.
Oh yeah, well, Proc, man, I appreciate you. Appreciate the time, man. We'll keep up with you. University of the Ozarks. What are they calling you? A guard, forward, everything? Yeah,
about 1 through 3, so guard.
They're saying you might need to talk to the folks that do y'all's website. They say you're 6'2", 160. I think that's a little short.
Yeah, I need to go have a discussion with them. I think it's a little short. About up another 22 on pound.
Yeah, that was my thought. About 6'4", about 175, 180. So
yeah. I'm gonna have to go have a talk with them. Me and my friends were talking about that the other night, actually.
It's funny. You catch people by surprise like that. It's kind of like when you list your offensive lineman on your roster in football, you want to list them like 25 or 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah, they get off the bus. It's like, ooh.
These dudes are big. But Brock, I appreciate you, buddy. Good luck this year.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Luke Proctor. We will take a break. We will have a preview of Mountain Home versus Van Buren here on the Bomber Buzz.
When it comes to health, we're all on our own journey. You may have aches, pains, fatigue, or even symptoms of long COVID that make everyday life difficult. For challenges like these, physical therapy is the solution. No matter where you are on your health journey, your physical therapist and physical therapist assistant can help. Visit ChoosePT.com to find a physical therapist near you, or ask your primary care provider for a referral. This message is provided by the American Physical Therapy Association.
Back here on the Bomber Buzz, we will have a preview of the Bombers game versus Van Buren later tonight. But we want to give a call real quick to the community and the folks of Greenwood High School. They're dealing with an incredibly unimaginable tragedy. They lost one of their own football players, Isaiah Arrington. They believe it was in a house fire. That's a very bright, shining young man. He was an incredible player. Just it looked like he could have been potentially, a next-level talent, a pro talent. He was going to go to Missouri State, and, he's going to shatter every receiving record that Greenwood had. But just want to tell those folks that we got them in our thoughts and prayers, as well as a lot of folks across the state. But that's just a real tough situation over there in Greenwood. But we wish them the best. We'll see them next week. That'll be the final regular season game. That will kick off at 7 p.m. This week, the Bombers will have their senior night. We're going to honor all of our seniors in football, golf, tennis, ROTC, band, cheer, dance. I'm trying to remember if I'm cross country. I think that's everyone. There's going to be over 70 people we're going to honor at 6:30 of the game. It's always a fun event, senior night. This may not be the last home game for the Bombers. If the Bombers are able to get a win, or if they don't get a win, there's a few things that could happen that could lock them into a home playoff game. But right now they're sitting third in the 6A West standings, technically tied for second, but they are third based on the tiebreaker. Greenwood's 5-0 at the top of the conference. Us and Shiloh Christian are 4-1. Lake Hamilton, Russellville, Van Buren all tie, or right around fourth. Lake Hamilton's in fourth at 3-2. Russellville, Van Buren tied for fifth. And Southside and Siloam Springs sitting at 0-5. It looks like those two, based on the math, they are out. So the top six is set. We're just trying to figure out the order. But Van Buren, they're a gritty ball club. They're going to be back in the state playoffs for the first time in a couple years. They're 3-5 this year. They have a good win over Siloam Springs and Southside. The scores are very similar to those, but they do have losses to Russellville and a very, very large loss to Lake Hamilton and Greenwood. But they're non-conference, very, very stout. They had Springdale. They lost by 2 scores. Greenbrier is going to be a real solid team at 5A, but it should be a good game. The Bombers, they have played Van Buren very well over the last couple of years. They had a game a couple of years ago on the road when Brady Barnett was a senior in that group, where we were down, it was 28 in the second half. We came back to win that one, and that vaulted us into the playoffs and started a winning streak, and we went to the second round of the playoffs for the second year in a row. But we hope you join us there at Bomber Stadium tonight. Should be pretty decent night. Had a little rain on Thursday morning, but it finally cleared through. It was a very just torrential downpour. It says, according to the forecast, it'll be sunny with a high of 67 and a low of 49 there. So you might bring a hoodie. It's going to be a little chilly. It's going to finally feel like fall for once, as we're going to burst into November. And it should be a good night for football, a good chance to honor our seniors. But again, with the Bombers, if they win, they will host a Class 5A or Class 6A state playoff game in the first round. It looks like it could be a handful of teams. Could be El Dorado, could be Sheridan, it could even be like a Jonesboro, or it's kind of a log jam in the middle of the 6A East. Could even be a West Memphis. There's probably 3 or 4 teams right now that it could be, but we'll have kind of a better idea. We don't want to put the horse before the cart, of course. Got to get through this game and get things ironed out, go win that one, and head down to Greenwood, hopefully 8-1 with our best record and an outside chance to win a conference championship if we win this week and then go over to Greenwood. So you're telling me there's a chance. You always just hope that. If you just even head there with a chance, that's a real big accomplishment, and a lot of great things that are going on in this program down in the future. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Bomber Buzz. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank my guest, Luke Proctor, for coming on. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can go back and listen to old episodes, as we've had a lot of our coaches from the district and a few standout athletes, and we plan to have a few more standout athletes and coaches down the line. Hope you have a great weekend.